Hey friends, welcome back to the channel Mulata Draws. I'm Nina, and in today's video we're going to be doing top 10 art tips for digital artist beginners to help you improve your art. This is also going to be a redraw from this image that I completed in 2020, which was a draw this in your style around the time when COVID first started. As you can see, she does have a mask on. In my final, of course, it is not perfect. Even the proportions are still not perfect, but with these tips I have been able to improve myself quite a lot. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe so that you don't miss out on future content. I upload every other Wednesday. But without further ado, let's get right into this video, guys, with tip number 1, which is having a defined sketch. So I am a digital artist, but I prefer to sketch my work traditionally first in my sketchbook, whether that's thumbnails or just coming up with ideas. I don't know why, but for the life of me, I absolutely cannot do it in my digital program. I don't know why. I just like to do it in my sketchbook. So that's what I'm doing here, making sure that my sketch is very defined, making sure that I'm connecting as much as possible now so that it's easier for when I go into my program. This brings us tip number 2, use a reference. Please use a reference. You are not cheating. I don't know who made up this myth that it's cheating if you use a reference, It's not. References help you come up with accurate depictions of your art so that you can draw from memory. Even skilled artists will use references for lighting, for color, for shape, and just to make sure that everything looks accurate and realistic. Tip number 3 that I have is varying line sizes. As you can see in my piece here, the outside lines are a lot thicker and inside detail lines are a lot thinner. This really helps give your art some more dimension and really does help it look a lot better. This is one of the things that really transformed my art. It's a subtle thing, but it does make quite a difference. You know, varying up those line sizes truly helps me a lot. My 4th tip that I have for you guys is to use layers to your advantage. A lot of times, people don't use layers fully. You know, if you need 10, 20, 30, 40 layers, use them, especially if, you're allowed in your program. They are definitely beneficial to keep things separated so that if you do make a mistake, it's a lot easier to go back and edit it, and it's easier to change certain layers and edit certain layers than it is to overlap things that are all together or one cohesive piece. So you really use layers to your advantage. Separate whatever you need to, even if you want to separate the hair, the skin. My next tip is actually one of the things that helped me the absolute most when I was learning how to improve my art, and that is using a tint layer. And this is something that really can transform your art and just add more life into your character's skin, your character's lips, nose, and face, and just make it look a lot more lively, which is what I'm doing right here, is just adding tint. A lot of people like to do it a lot more subtle. I tack it on pretty heavily, I'm not going to lie, and I just mess with the opacity if I need to later. But using a tint layer is, one of the things that helped me improve my art, I'd say absolutely the most. The next tip that I have is another one that helped in conjunction with the tint layer, and that is using cell shading and limiting the airbrush tool or the airbrush feature or the smudge feature. Cell shading is something that really helped my art stand out a lot more. It really helped it pop. It really helped it look a lot more attractive and appealing to the eye, because when you use a lot of airbrush, it creates a lot of blur. It creates a lot of gray area, and it just looks very messy and very not put together. But using cell shading really helps your art look a lot cleaner, a lot more professional, and just a lot better overall in general. It is a process learning how to use it, where to use it, and how to blend it in so that it looks good correctly. But using airbrush in combination with cell shading is one of the things that helped me the most when I was trying to better myself as an artist. The next tip that I have for you guys is to use YouTube tutorials. I promise you, there are so many artists that have wanted to learn digital art, and YouTube is one of the absolute best ways, I think, that you can really connect with other artists and learn some of the things that they do. You can find everything on YouTube. You can teach yourself how to do almost anything on YouTube, and art and digital art is absolutely no different. So YouTube tutorials help me a lot. If I don't know how to do something, or if I don't like how I do a certain something, looking it up on YouTube and seeking guidance of artists that I look up to really did help me a lot. The 8th tip that I have is going to be color selection, and This one can be a little bit tricky for some people. Some people are naturally better at it, but selecting your colors and making colors that go together for one and are very pleasing to the eye for two is really important to help your image look more cohesive. My style is very, very girly, very Afro pop, so I often am using colors on the spectrum of like blue, pink, purple, and sometimes red. Any basic color theory tutorial on YouTube can definitely help you as far as choosing your colors. My 9th digital art tip is going to be adding highlights. I know a lot of people already do this, but it really, really does help your art stand out, and learning where to apply highlights so that they look better and putting them in places like the eyelids or the nose and then the eye shine, of course. I'm not talking about doing just lighting or a shade lighter. I usually use a few pops of bright whites. Using stark white on the lips, on the nose, on the eyes really helps add more dimension to your art and really adds just an extra factor of professionalism, and it helps it really, really stand out. Don't go too crazy because it does start to lose effect. It's supposed to be a very, very subtle detail that really does make a big difference in your art. Digital art tip number 10 is going to be using an overlay layer over top of your final piece just to make all of your colors cohesive and make everything unified. You can definitely mess with the opacity on it. What I do is I just select my flats layer, color over the top of every single layer with, I usually choose pink or purple, but you can pick whatever color you like. I set it on hard light and then I mess with the lighting that way. But those are my top 10 tips for digital artists, beginners, to help improve your art, just to get you started. Those are the tips that really helped me improve my art. On the left, we have the finished redraw from 2022 versus on the right from 2020 when I first started getting into digital art. And as you can see, there is a drastic difference. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if this video helped you, and if you don't want to miss out on future content, I do post every other Wednesday. My Etsy shop is open and well stocked. Link for that will be in the description. But thank you guys so much. Have a great Wednesday, have a great week, and see you in the next video.